It was supposed to be just another day at the beach. 3 children, a bright summer morning, a routine trip their parents had allowed many times before. But on January 26, 1966, they never came home. No witnesses, no screams, no bodies, just an eerie silence that settled over Australia and never lifted. This is the story of Jane, Arnna, and Grant Beaumont, and the day an entire nation lost its innocence. Welcome to Captain Justice True Stories. Subscribe because justice is coming. In 1966, the Beaumont family lived in the quiet suburb of Somerton Park, in Adelaide, South Australia. The children, Jane 9, Arnna 7, and Grant 4, were well-behaved, responsible, and deeply bonded siblings. Their parents, Jim and Nancy Beaumont, were cautious and caring. Jane, the eldest, was considered mature beyond her years, trusted to look after her younger brother and sister. On Australia Day, January 26, 1966, the 3 children asked to go to Glenelg Beach, a short bus ride from their home. It was a hot summer day, and they'd gone many times before. Nancy agreed. She handed them a few coins for snacks. They left home around 10 a.m., and they were never seen again. The Beaumont children were seen at Wenzel's Cake Shop near the beach around 11:45 a.m. They purchased snacks, including a meat pie, something their parents later found odd. The children had never bought meat pies before. Witnesses saw them playing happily at the beach. But then, nothing. When they failed to return by 2 p.m. as planned, Nancy assumed they missed the bus. But when Jim got home from work at 3 p.m. and still no sign, the panic began. By 5 p.m., the police were involved. By nightfall, a full-scale search was underway. And by morning, all of Australia was watching. What made this case different wasn't just the tragedy, it was the time. In 1966, Australia was considered safe. Doors were left unlocked. Kids played outside unsupervised. Abductions were almost unheard of. The idea that 3 children could vanish in broad daylight from a crowded public beach was unthinkable. The media exploded. Headlines screamed. Volunteers joined police to search the coastline, parks, houses, and drains. But there was nothing. No bodies, no clues, no suspects. A crucial lead came from witnesses who had seen the children talking to a tall, thin man with blonde hair. They were laughing, relaxed, not afraid. Jane was reportedly seen with a book under her arm, a book her mother said she didn't take from home. Police believed the man had given it to her. The implication was terrifying. The children knew him, or trusted him, or he was skilled at gaining trust. Later, a postman, someone who knew the children, said he saw them walking alone near their home around 3 p.m., appearing cheerful. But this contradicted the timeline, and like so much in this case, it led nowhere. Theory 1, abduction by a stranger. This remains the most accepted theory, that a predator gained the children's trust and lured them away. But no known child abductor at the time matched the description. Theory 2, accidental death and cover-up. Some believe the children may have died by accident, possibly in an abandoned building or drain, and someone covered it up. But no evidence supports this. Theory 3, targeted kidnapping. One bizarre theory suggested the children were taken as part of a revenge plot against Jim Beaumont, but this was never substantiated. Theory 4, taken by an international ring. Years later, whispers of child trafficking rings emerged, involving Australia and overseas networks. But no solid leads were ever found. Over the years, several names surfaced. Bevan Spencer von Einem, a convicted child killer, was considered a suspect. But he was only 20 at the time, and no direct link was proven. Another was Derek Percy, a known child murderer. He was in the area in 1966, but again, no conclusive evidence. In 2013, police searched a factory once owned by a man named Harry Phipps, a wealthy local resident whose own son claimed he saw the Beaumont children in his yard. Cadaver dogs hit on something, but no remains were found. The truth, whatever it is, remains buried. In the 1990s, Jim and Nancy received letters, supposedly from Jane and her abductor, The writer claimed the children were safe and living under new identities. An elaborate meeting was arranged, but no one showed. Years later, the letters were proven to be a cruel hoax, written by a man with a history of fraud. It broke the Beaumonts all over again. Nancy and Jim never moved from their home. They never changed their phone number. They never stopped waiting. They believed for years that their children might return. That one day there would be a knock at the door, a phone call, a clue. In 2019, Nancy Beaumont passed away at age 92, having never learned what happened to her children. Jim, now in his late 90s, lives in privacy. His pain, like the case, remains unsolved. The Beaumont case forever changed Australia. Parents became more cautious. Schools tightened rules. Kids stopped walking alone. And trust, once taken for granted, evaporated. It also changed policing. It led to the development of national databases, interagency cooperation, and specialized missing persons units. And yet, despite all that, not a single confirmed piece of evidence has ever surfaced. No remains, no clothing, no closure. More than half a century has passed since Jane, Arnna, and Grant disappeared. If alive, they would now be grandparents. But to the world, they are still 3 children on a summer day, frozen in time. If you know anything about the Beaumont children, even after all these years, contact South Australia Police at +61 88172 5000. This has been Captain Justice True Stories. Subscribe and follow for more haunting mysteries, untold crimes, and the stories justice forgot. Because justice is coming.